Welcome to another episode of Breaking Bank with your host, Jack McKeag. Find us on libertyaid.org and write us your thoughts, questions, and so on at contact at libertyaid.org. I got a good question here. Thank you very much, Linda, for writing it in. I'm going to read it and I'm going to go over it so you can understand this and kind of get an idea about some other things. All right. Jack, I'm transferring my last funds, which are IRAs. Is there any way I can avoid being hit by the taxes since I am removing the funds to the trust? Will it make a difference if I take it all out at once? The accountant I've always used says I'll have to pay the taxes and the government does not acknowledge the trust we have used, so he does not want to be involved. The accountant, right? The accountant says that what do you say? The government does not acknowledge the trust. Well, the trust has an EIN. It's a business type. I think that's pretty much full acknowledgement from the government. Has a bank account, owns things, operates in commerce. You think it doesn't recognize the in God we trust? It recognizes that trust just fine. It recognizes this trust. That accountant, like every other accountant I've ever met or heard of, just doesn't have any interest in the truth. They don't want to know the truth. And they don't want to operate in the truth because their license is a license to create money for themselves by taking your money and giving it to the in God we trust. That's almost what every accountant thinks their role is in society, helping people pay taxes. Actually, a good accountant helps people not pay taxes, and I'm a good accountant, and that's what I do. And I have proof of my work. And no, fucking don't pay no fucking income taxes. No, not never, fuck, never. Anyway, and I got proof I do it legally for everyone else to do. So, your accountant, I think that's what we call a bad accountant. He's not very good. Or she. Oh, that's funny. Okay, on to the next thing. Okay, so what you're talking about, I'm transferring the last funds, which are IRAs. So what she's talking about, which she's not saying very well here in this question, is she's been operating a person, like most people do, and everyone's taught to. Okay, so almost everybody's, in that person. And so she's got a thing called an IRA, right? Individual retirement account that's supposed to save on some taxes if you keep your money in there until you're old or whatever, and then you get it out. Okay. Those are special, in God we trust rules for an IRA. And so, can you legally avoid those taxes? Basically, I'm not into, any tax scams or none of that stuff, but a client wants to know if they can avoid these taxes legally. And yes, you can. I'll tell you how. See, the government doesn't do anything legally. Not a single thing. You ask them for proof that you owe a bill, they'll never have anything signed from you that is proof. Never. And they'll always want to collect from you, and they'll always try and take your money at a point of a gun, basically, or under threat of jail or what have you. We're going to steal more from you. They only have threats and lies. That's their only power, is threats and lies. Okay, mine is truth, proof, and love of God. We have different methodologies. See, they're just thieves. Any government employee is simply a thief. And then they're trying to legitimize their thievery. That's what a government employee does. They have no other purpose. Almost to see, government employees and bank employees are in two categories, and two categories only. Either they're a cross-dressing liar and lying about even, their sex they were born with, and so therefore everything else in their life, they're stealing your money, they're inhabited by a demon, their human body has no God in them, period, not even a little bit. Or the other type that has no God in them either, right? They're not cross-dressing. They're just a straight up coward. Oh, I should do this. I'm going to listen to these cross-dressers. And they told me in school I'm on a balls and I have to pay my taxes. So I'm just going to, you know, be a government employee and I'll just follow orders. Humans don't follow orders. They follow God's orders. They do what's right. They don't follow orders. So that you're not up to human being yet. Your fear has not raised your consciousness to the human being level. You're following orders, that's like being a rock. You're not a human. You're like a stone or a tree. Like, you know, if a stone is in a river and there's a big current, it might move around a little bit. Okay, that it doesn't have any thinking. It just operates to outside stimuli. A tree, no thinking. The wind blows, it moves. You're a government employee following orders. You're like a tree or a stone. You gave up your capacity to be a human being. You abdicated that role. You're no longer human. You're like a rock. You degenerated yourself, your own consciousness, away from truth and proof. Do you follow? Okay, so that's who's over them, doing that. Just living the lie every single day of their life and lying to everyone and stealing your money. Why? Because you're a coward too. Okay, so let's go back to the question, because that's all that's going on with government, okay? Just, there's no other information that opposes that. All my videos show that is true. So now what are we doing? We're operating a trust, right? You have a bank account, just the same level as the In God We Trust, so therefore you don't owe taxes to the In God We Trust. You're at the same level as them. It's just the contract with God, they're the contract with Satan, whatever. That's fine, okay? So, you know, you're not going to owe taxes over there on the trust, okay? So if you take the IRA stuff and you put it in the trust, great. If you still got bank accounts with a person and assets in the person, then be like, hey, you owe us taxes, y'all want that IRA. We're going to steal your other stuff in your person's name in order to get your, quote, back taxes. You know what I mean? So, okay, you have to get out of operating the person altogether. No bank accounts, no assets, no nothing. Okay, now your IRA is moved over. It's in the trust. Yay. You have every penny. Now, say the IRS writes a letter like, hey, where's the money we were going to steal from that IRA? I thought we were stealing from you. Well, I thought you were all, we were going to steal. You were all happy. What happened? Then you write them, hey, can you validate that debt? Can you say I signed and said that's cool under the In God We Trust? Whatever. And they're not going to have proof. They're not going to. But what are they ultimately going to be able to do? Do what? So you have no assets in the person. You have no bank account, no wages to garnish. There's nothing. If you don't have a job and you're working you're serving people out of your trust. Taking donations or whatever in the trust. What are they going to do? Nothing. There's no money they can get at, no assets. So even if they decide, hey, we decide by ourselves, the IRS, so you owe us a bunch of money and, whatever. How are they going to get it? From what? The trust is not your person. They're two different businesses. They don't relate at all. Okay, so they can't go into another thing and get your money. It's so simple. Okay, so this is a good question, but it would have taken me a long time to type that up. What's the symbol? Signs and symbols. That's the subtle plane that rules the signs and symbols up to the fourth plane, right? God's shadows that high. All right, so when they go, hey, you know what this symbol? What happens when I do this? That means scissors, right? If I'm doing like this, I'm like cut something, right? So when I stop cutting, is that still scissors? Is that still scissors? Is it? Yes, that's still scissors. What does that mean? That means snip, snip. I chopped off my penis, or I had somebody else chop it off, or had somebody else chop up some shit and make a thing that looks like a penis. You see what I'm saying? That's what that means. I'm a cross-dresser. I switched the gender appearance out of love of Satan. Yo, signs and symbols. Peace out, man. I gave up a piece of me. That piece is out. Peace out.